Welcome to BeachinSurfTV. My name's Clint Harris and we're here to talk about boards, fins and everything else you use to get your froth on the surf. Today we're going to be talking about the Torkpedo, but as you can see behind me, we've been basking in a shower of glory from the RMS range. This is number 3 that we're checking out, and I think this is a really cool model and right on point with where everyone's going with their all-rounded choice these days. This one is very typical of where people have been shrinking down their high-performance boards, 4 to 6 inches. They want to ride them shorter. They still want some entry rocker though. They want lots of drive. This board's got volume, it's fun, it's fast, and it's going to be potentially one of the best boards that Rex has had in his range for quite a while. I've seen guys just absolutely lap these things up. This board and the Squelch are 2 of the hottest picks, and I've really been looking forward to talk about this one. So let's jump in and look at some of these features. So when we started off these little sessions on the RMS boards today, we looked at the diamond disc. We then looked at a high performance. So we've got summer 1 to 3 foot. We've got high performance days where you got some face you can work off and really get some proper traditional high performance features into that board. And then where's this board actually fit if you've got 1 to 3 foot covered and you got 3 foot up, kind of covered up there to 6 foot until you're bringing out your gun? Well, this board is a board designed to surf well, like you do that guy, in the smaller conditions. It's going to basically be a board designed to surf top to bottom in smaller conditions. And that's the best way you can kind of describe these models. They've still got a lot of the traditional features, but they do actually slot in between these 2 boards behind me. It's a board that still maintains a bit of entry rocker, but it's flat through the guts and through the tail. It has a bit more area in the tail. It has a lot more volume under the chest. So you're really picking this board because you don't want to sit kind of front foot heavy and ride these boards which are a bit cruisier. They're pretty flowy rail to rail. You're looking to still drive hard and you still work your board hard with this kind of model like you do for a high performance model. So that's where this kind of board's fitting. It's in between these guys. If you like that style of surfing but you still want to work hard in the smaller conditions, then this board's going to be really good. You know, it's still going to work well top to bottom, but it's going to have enough paddle to make surfing in smaller conditions pretty easy. So there's a few team riders out there from the RMS group that are riding these boards. They're riding them 4 to 6 inches shorter. So when I look at this board, I'm definitely going to want to at least cut 4 inches off my typical high performance board. This board here that we've got in front of us is a 6'2" by 20 1/4, 2.5. And when you stick it under your arm and you feel it, you can really tell that there's a lot of volume. You know, it's not as kind of aggressive in the volume as, say, the diamond disc, but there's still a ton of volume through this board. And the first feature that I really wanted to kind of pick on and have a look at was how much volume you're getting in this board. And so with this 6'2", we do actually have 33.9 litres of foam. So if you do like riding, let's say 29 litres of foam, you're probably going to be riding this in maybe a 5'10". So keep that in mind when you're looking at your volumes in comparison to some of the other boards you like in your quiver. Next feature we're going to look at is the absolute awesomeness of this spiral V at the tail. And like we saw in the diamond disc, it's the same spiral V that we saw in that guy. When you've got so much volume in the board, and I've seen this from other shapers, I've seen this pretty consistently, and it just works. You've got a lot of volume, you've got to loosen it up at the tail, and nothing does it better than having this really quite well-defined spiral V at the tail of the board. It's going to create really easy rail-to-rail action. The board's going to be super drivey, and when I look at the tail, the other thing that I am seeing is that you've got that hard edge again, and I like this in the RMS range. On a lot of his boards, he does keep quite a hard edge. It works well with these shallower kind of concave setups. Makes them lively, makes them really fun, especially in those smaller kind of duller conditions. And that's why I kind of like this board. You know, it's got that nice little mashup of features that works well in the 1 to 3 conditions. And keep in mind, you're buying this board for kind of 1 to 4 foot. You know, anything you've got a little wall to work off in those 1 to 2 foot running days, or if it's 4 foot, this board's still going to hold and it's still going to be a lot of fun. The last thing that I really wanted to look at with this board is the rocker. You know, it's always something well worth having a proper dig at when looking at any board. And with this particular board, you're going to see that there's still a bit of entry rocker there, enough to really work off. and then it's flat from there on in. It's flat through the guts, it's flat through the tail. When we compared it back to this guy, the Buzz Plus, we saw that there was good entry rocker and there was really good tail lift. Now I don't know if you're going to quite capture that on camera there, but you've got a tad little bit more entry rocker, and then you've got proper tail lift. Whereas on the Torkpedo, it's quite flat through the tail and it's quite flat through the guts. So as a result, you're going to have a bit of extra speed to work off, which is perfect for those smaller conditions, where Buzz Plus is going to be a bit slow in those smaller conditions. So keep that in mind with some of the benefits and the pros and cons that you're getting with this board. So to round it up, you've got a great board here that fits in between these two guys. I really like riding these boards. They're fun, and at the end of the day, you look around the conditions that we've got here on Central Coast Australia, California, same deal. You've got smaller 1 to 3 foot days, short wind swells, and you need all the speed you can get, and you need the extra paddle power to get into them at times. So guys don't want to ride these longer boards. They want to still surf though as hard as they can in those smaller conditions. That's what this board's for. This board's going to allow you to go top to bottom, still going to allow you to rip, and it's going to make those smaller days a ton of fun. We've got the full lineup of this board in store. Come in, check them out. Happy to talk about this one. I think it's a great winner out of the RMS range.